Habarigani, Mainduga na Dada. This is your elder again, Abu Amen Ra. My brothers and sisters, I would like to share some information to you that will be enlightening for some of us and will appear as us going over the same thing over and over again because they already know it. But please, share a little of your time with me. I appreciate it very much. And I'll try to be as succinct as I possibly can be. I want to talk for a moment, and I hope it's not too long. Otherwise, I'll have to make it in 2 volumes or 2 parts. And here's the first part. The American Indian involvement in the African American Holocaust. Taken from a book entitled Reparations and God's Judgment by John D. Brinson. Now, please bear with me for a moment or so. The American Indian involvement in our Holocaust. It is true that some Indian tribes did fight side by side with African Americans during the Seminole Wars in Florida against the common enemy, the white slave masters and his supporters. It is also true that the major tribes were as involved in slaving as Thomas Jefferson or the Southern plantation slave owners. In the early colonial period in America, Europeans took great care in discouraging alliances between our ancestors and Indians. In most of the federal treaties, many of these treaties required Indians to aid in the capture of runaway slaves and to turn them over to local authority or owners. Indians were involved in slave trading and early on found how it was extremely profitable to be in existence. At the end of the 18th century, some Indian tribes were slave traders and owners and fought alongside the Southern Confederacy in the Civil War to maintain slavery and to protect their economic interests. Now listen, let me make 6 quick points. In 1824, there were 1,277 black slaves being held among 15,560 Cherokees. In 1861, 25,000 Choctaw and Chickasaw Indians owned more than 5,000 black slaves. In a tree at Fort Smith, Arkansas, in September 1865, the Choctaws and Chickasaws were paid $300,000 by the U.S. government for a district of lands west of the 90-degree longitude. Essentially, the treaty provided that the U.S. government pay the Choctaw and Chickasaw legislatures $300,000 plus 5% interest for the land, contingent upon the Indians drafting laws and rules to free all their black slaves and to give each slave and their descendants 40 acres of land from each nation. Also, in addition to the 80 acres that have been given to each slave, each tribe was to give each slave $1 per capita. The treaty further stipulated that should the Indian legislators not craft these laws for black slaves within a 2-year period from the ratification of the treaty, the $300,000 shall cease to be held in the trust for the Indians and given instead to the black ex-slaves. Now listen to this. Contingency upon ex-slave traders in Washington, D.C. in the early 1870s and complained to Congress that they never received the 80 acres of land nor the monies. These Indian tribes that I've highlighted today for you owe our ancestors a very large debt. We have to put this in our safe, lock it securely, guard and protect it in a secure manner, because it's a lot of people who owe our people reparations. This information was taken from a book entitled Reparations and God's Judgment by John D. Brinson. Reparations and God's Judgment, possibly through Amazon. Peace be upon you, and may we protect and defend the ancestors. Once again, y'all, my brothers and sisters, peace and hotep to you.